Hi, everyone, and welcome to the HEBED AI Podcast. This podcast is where we focus on real work of AI, meaning what it actually takes to move from ideas and experiments to systems and experiences that create lasting value in the real world. Today, we're really pleased to be joined by Mohit, founder of Takumi AI. Takumi brings a distinct perspective to AI, blending creativity, strategy, and execution, and drawing inspiration from the Japanese principles of Takumi and Kaizen, meaning some sort of mastery and continuous improvement, right? And rather than treating AI as a one-off transformation or a slide deck exercise, Takumi focuses on building and activating AI-driven experiences that improve marketing, customer experience, and decision-making over time. In this conversation, we'll talk about what it means to make AI more human, how organizations move from strategy to outcomes, and the trade-offs involved in delivering AI that actually works in practice. Mohit, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right. And to get us started, could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us what you're building at Takumi AI?
Thanks for the introduction, Edward. I've been in marketing and advertising and the digital space for about 20 plus years now. And my last role was CMO in a financial services company. I have 20 years of experience in the space of marketing, brand, digital transformation, and it's been about building brands, scaling growth, and also watching a lot of shiny tech, promising that it can change the world, right? So I think the reason Takumi exists is that I saw a clear a problem with the way people are adopting AI. And I really wanted to solve that with a marketer's hat, right? So as you rightly introduced, essentially Takumi is a new breed of AI experience consultancy, right? Which is designed to drive marketing transformation through AI, helping brands adopt AI in a meaningful way. At the same time, it is also about designing meaningful AI-powered experiences which can drive growth and transformation for brands. So I think what we are trying to do is something which is new. So that's why I said new breed of AI consultancy, because I feel like this model does not exist right now. So we're trying to identify ourselves as not an agency but as a consultancy, because it looks at things from a marketer's perspective, and that's where I come in from as an ex-CMO, and helping brands adopt AI using roadmaps, using strategies, and using consultancy frameworks. Yeah.
All right. And I really like the term experience rather than solutions, because it sounds so different from what you used to hear. So I really like the positioning that you decided to focus on, and we're really excited to hear more about what you guys are building at Takumi AI. In terms of problem, what problem made this company necessary today? I mean, not just interesting, but really necessary,
So I, as in my last previous role, in a corporate role as a CMO, I found that a lot of brands are stuck in what I call AI theater, right? So everyone's joining the theater, everyone's wanting to adopt AI, and I see a lot of people, a lot of brands piloting AI tools, generating content, really experimenting with AI in different ways. But they're calling it transformation. So unfortunately, that's far from it. They are on the right path, but it is not changing the outcomes. It is not changing their KPIs, their business metrics. And that's exactly why Takumi exists, is because, AI is not failing due to technology. It is failing due to organizations' lack of strategy. It is the lack of an operating model which supports AI, and also, more importantly, the direction which only humans can do, right? So I think Takumi exists to bridge that gap between the potential of AI and the promise which it can bring to the marketing ecosystem. And I said, AI is not just another tool; it is a new operating system altogether, which is a new conversation which you need to have with all the CMOs and CXOs across the world. Yeah, so I think that's the problem we're trying to solve.
But interesting. So, with your AI tools, who brings the creativity? Is you with your experience, or is AI itself?
So I think thanks for the question, Heaven. So I think to my mind and my view, I think AI is a great tool to supercharge creativity. It cannot replace human imagination. It cannot replace the latent creativity which creatives have. But what it can do is it can actually raise the bar for creativity. It can actually almost eradicate mediocre marketing because it raises the bar, right? So now you have access to tools. So it frees up creative to think more creatively. It frees up imagination to think more because now AI can deliver that creativity for you, but then imagination has to originate from you as a human, right? So, and I think that's the difference. So it is great tool to supercharge creativity and eliminate mediocre quality of work.
And if you could summarize your service in a simple sentence, how does your product actually work?
So ours is a consultancy model. What it does is, as said, like any consultancy, we have our own framework to deliver strategies, roadmaps, frameworks to brands and marketing organizations to help them adopt AI in meaningful ways. So that's the top. And obviously, that cascades into use cases. The use cases could be about building a Gen AI creative strategy for them, or it could be about building agentic AI capabilities for them. It could be about driving marketing automation. So that's the consulting layer on top, and then we have the execution layer, which I think you were referring to. That's essentially turning those use cases in the real world through a set of AI tech partners which we have, which can then bring those use cases in the real world and deliver the wow, right? Deliver the transformation. So not only do we promise transformation to brands and businesses, but we also make it happen by through a set of AI partners, and that's where the magic is, right? So that's what we do. Essentially, it's strategy meets execution end to end, from consulting to the end executions, and obviously the resultant transformations. So we do all of that.
So you work with SMEs or do you work with large organization?
So we position ourselves as a boutique consultancy, and we work from all sizes of organizations, predominantly, I would say, medium, size businesses to big brands as well. I think that's our aspiration is to find that gap where big organizations are looking at nimble consultancies like us to help navigate the AI maze, so to speak, right? And that's where the thinking comes in, right? What we bring is the thinking and the human-centered sort of approach to AI, as opposed to any other agency which will just execute solutions for you.
So how do you think of the future of organization? For example, the SMEs, how the marketing, I would say, department look like for the large organization as well?
So I think the future of a marketing organization is a very interesting topic, and I can love to talk about it. So the future of marketing organizations is, I think, agentic, right? So right now, I think we are talking about large marketing teams, very specialized, but increasingly, I feel that there will be organizations will be much more leaner, much more agile, less layers, faster decision making, where there'll be a top layer of strategists, curators, thinkers on top, and obviously you will have AI enabling and augmenting their capabilities to to do repetitive tasks, to build automation, to generate content for them. But then the thinking and the strategy and the meaning judgment will come from the marketing team. So that's what I think. So it's a very lean. The organizations of the future is very lean, and I think how do you drive efficiency through each function is what the focus will be on, right? So there's a big room for transformation within the marketing team of the future.
No, interesting. Talking about the future, which marketing roles disappear first, according to your experience and what you've seen, and which become more valuable?
So I think, Edward, to my mind, tasks which are repetitive, tasks which can be automated, tasks which are repeatable. I think these are the kind of tasks, these are the kind of roles which will become more AI focused, because then you can actually leverage AI in the right ways. But as I said earlier, things which involve, meaning, things which involve imagination, things which involve systems thinking, and I think those are those are things which AI cannot ever replace, right? And that's the blend of capabilities we're looking at, where humans, as in people like ourselves, are relegated to that particular role, as well as AI is enabling and augmenting that vision through executing that. So I think that's the kind of roles which will get replaced more and so. And we've already started seeing it happening. Big organizations are already pivoting towards roles and using AI to replace humans. But then it's actually reimagining those roles in a new way. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's very interesting to see that because every time there's a new, I would say, technological transformation that impact the whole society. Over the short term, there's always people that might lose their job because they don't have the skills, and it's hard to compete with this new technology. And since the current available LLMs on the market provide a lot of, I would say, content ideas in terms of marketing. It's quite tough to compete with that. And I was also intrigued in how you managed to distinguish yourself regarding those classical LLMs such as ChatGPT or Claude, Gemini, and so on.
Yeah, so I think, as I said, tools are a means to an end, right? So we have so many different LLMs, and obviously the ones you named, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and they're all great in their own aspects. But I think the conversation needs to change from tools to outcomes and use cases, right? Because sometimes the solutions which we come up with is not about using one tool; it's about using multiple tools and orchestrating different tools to deliver solutions, right? So the solution doesn't lie in one particular LLM or one particular tool. It's a combination. It's a blend of those, and that's why we call this new term of AI generalist, right? So that's where an AI generalist is somebody who is proficient in using these various tools to deliver and solve complex business problems. And I think that's what is going to be the new way of looking at things, where it's not about specialization, but about generalization and using AI to solve these problems. And that role can exist in any certain function, not necessarily marketing. Obviously, with marketing, you look at solving business problems within marketing, but then that's where the world is moving to.
I agree. And also we know that whatever the business you're trying to build, marketing usually is the bottleneck when it comes to sales. So you need to definitely be very creative to hit your ideal customer and to make him or her feel like your product is the right one. So I guess you have the experience and the tools to manage to do so. I'm also curious with something else, which is your ex roles as a CMO. Actually, today with AI, where should CMOs absolutely not use AI? Actually.
So I think it's the same skills which I think spoke about. I think the reason why CMOs should not use it is what there are certain areas which are very critical, where which requires human intervention and imagination as well. So, for example, anywhere where trust, meaning, and accountability matter the most, right? For example, look at any cultural storytelling opportunity where there is a big campaign, there's a big imaginations. AI is known not to necessarily be very strong on that, right now. So I think those are the things which are extremely critical from a human-led approach, right? Then other one is crisis communications, right? So crisis communications, again, AI can be a great aid there, but then it has to be a human-led approach to deliver the right solutions in these areas. So I think wherever we need to defend these moments publicly, where trust, meaning, and accountability are critical, I think AI should not be it should not be an AI first approach through CMOs. It should be a human centered approach, and that's exactly what we try and do with Takumi. Is we promise a human led AI approach as opposed to a AI led approach, right? So I think I mean, marketing would always be a curious, a function which where creativity, curiosity, imagination, the confluence of that will always be critical, and AI will just be enabling and augmenting that, right? So, yeah, that's where I think CMO and AI can blend together.
And how can brand compete each other? Is the number of employees that you have, or what is the skills that must have the brands to be, I would say, first in the market?
So I think AI adoption is definitely giving brands a competitive advantage, right? Because we've seen the big brands, the big marketing organizations in the world, Unilever, Mondelez, sort of Citibank, with all JP Morgan. I mean, these guys are obviously early adopters of AI, and they're building a lot of in-house capabilities, enterprise level capabilities, which then also reflects on the marketing side of things, right? So they are definitely there is an advantage to start early on this, because the quicker you adopt, the quicker you learn, the quicker you build a roadmap, which then gives you consistent and robust outcomes and KPIs which deliver against your business objectives, right? And I keep saying this to CMOs, that if you don't, if you don't take that step forward, you're going to fall behind, right? So the risk of falling behind. So obviously there is a FOMO around AI, but then how do you turn that FOMO into a consistent strategy, right? That's where we come in and say that, okay, guys, I know you have the pressure, you have the excitement as well as the cynicism around AI, but then that's where you are here to bridge that gap of showing you how your brand can be ahead of the game, right? And I feel like AI is a great leveler of brands, right? So before AI, you have the big brands, you have the advantage of big budgets and access to the best resources, skill sets, and small brands not so much. Now with AI and the democratization of the tools, it's a very level playing field. It's actually giving more power to the smaller brands to be able to be more creative, more imaginative, and then literally upping their ante and punching above their weight, so to speak, right? So I think it's a great opportunity for big brands to keep proving that yes, big brands doesn't mean that we are corporate and not creative. We are actually can do so much more. So again, to each his own. But I think it's a big opportunity for small brands to stand out and break through.
I really like the way of learning by doing. By this kind of learning, which learn that you have done by building, I would say, AI-driven product for brands.
So I'll give you a small example. So one of the areas which we consult companies are on Gen AI creative strategy and automation, right? So And what we do differently is we don't just produce AI content for you, but then we build systems and engines for you, right? So we identify a problem within the organization, a business problem, which translates to a statement, and statement could be about bringing the campaign creation cycle shorter, right? So with any new campaign, it can take months and sometimes more than that to deliver creatives for a campaign and go live with it, right? So that cycle can take weeks and months. With AI, the promise is that you can deliver it in days. However, that's one aspect of it. But how do you create a system which can deliver a content engine for you, which can then be automated over a period of time, which can then be used for your multiple brands in the different variations, in the different hyper personalized variations of that to different audiences at scale, at volume, whilst reducing efficiency, etc. And this is the kind of one space which is hugely open for disruption. And that's exactly what we are doing. Is we're building that vision for big brands to, or for that matter, any size of brands to show them the value of that, right? And this is much beyond than just a one-off content creation or ads for a particular campaign, but essentially a long-term strategy to deliver on those outcomes. Yeah, so that's one example of what we are doing.
Wow, no, but this sounds very challenging. I mean, any company has its own way of working, so it's very difficult to meet every requirements, and especially in terms of integration systems. Sometimes it's quite conflicting to I would say synchronize, the data transformation transition.
Yeah.
So it's very a huge challenge to you, but very impressed with your willingness to navigate in those dark gray zone areas. So wow, it's very interesting. Talking about challenges, I'm also wondering what has been the hardest parts of building an AI driven product such as yours? I mean, something that people usually don't see.
I think the hardest part for me has to be, first of all, when I was building this model, just seeking validation that there is a demand for, a proposition, a model like this, where there's a consultancy which is doing end-to-end thinking as well as execution for you. So I think, first of all, the clarity which I needed myself, setting up the vision, but also finding validation, and then most importantly, the convincing people around me, convincing CMOs around me that you need something like Takumi, and yes, it exists, and then building a space for it, right? So, I mean, there are two ways of doing things. You already have a certain demand for a certain product, and you continue to build a new product, and then there is already a demand for it, right? Here is a model which potentially has a demand, but has to create a niche and space for it. So I think that was the hard part for me. But fortunately enough, I had we have mentors and advisors some of those are part of Takumi, who helped me validate that. There were some really smart people within the tech and AI space who gave me the confidence that yes, what I'm building has value. Obviously, you will have to work hard to showcase that this has certain value to it. And I think so far it's been working well. It's a slow but steady process of convincing people around me that Takumi exists for creating the real change and driving transformation. So yeah.
Right. No, interesting. Since you have a consultancy agency, which is obviously different than a startup, in terms of fundraising, how's the journey? Is it completely a different path from startups? I mean, could you describe it from your own perspective?
So yeah, I mean, I've also incorporated Takumi as a startup in the Dubai AI campus. So essentially, the face of it is a startup. I've currently gone the bootstrap route because I had to essentially prove that this model works, and so Product-led AI, startups are a little bit more intensive because they have a product in place. So they obviously they need the investments to continue building and then scaling, etc. For me, it's a different conversation. I think it's about uh, building proof that this model exists and then achieving scales through certain POCs and some brands, some really good, small, strong brands coming on board. So, and I think the fundraising is probably something which I would look at that stage once we have that initial attraction and a set of clients which we can be proud about. The work which we do will speak for itself, and then hoping that we can get into those interesting conversations about raising funds and scaling Takumi geographically, as well as expanding the suite of solutions which we offer.
Right, that makes sense. I was quite curious regarding these two different structure of companies. So it's always interesting to have different, perspectives on that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to. I want to talk about responsible AI. Do you think this theme, this topic with governance, are becoming a real competitive advantage, or are they still mostly treated as let's say, as a simple checkbox?
No, absolutely right point. So when we're having these conversations around responsible AI and obviously around regulation, governance, and compliance, I think what I've seen is that even with the kind of solutions we are developing, brands that actually bake governance early on will definitely outpace those who do not. So I think and I think right now it's important to have those conversations and take responsibility of that. So as Takumi as well, we take a lot of responsibility to own this space, to have these answers, not just with brands but also our tech partners, and ensuring that we bring those conversations up as opposed to be an afterthought, right? And I think that in 5 years from now, responsible AI, will be essentially uninsurable, right? So it is a must have right now. It's not a break. It is a long term approach.
Yeah, sure. And regarding the content creation with agent in the marketing space, who owns, I will say, the content? Is the LLM or is the brand? How it's working? Or is it a gray area?
Yeah, interesting question. So I think a lot of brands. So one of the spaces which we advise clients on is building a geo strategy, right? So what we are seeing is that brands are increasingly conscious and cognizant of how they're presented across LLMs, right? So the LLMs by default are becoming what they call zero-click search, where people are more likely to go to LLMs to get an answer, to get a query answered, as opposed to a search, which is kind of multiple iterations before you get what you want. Here's an LLM which gives you all of that. And if it happens to be about your brand, then how do you ensure that your brand is well represented, it has the right visibility and the right context around it as well? So as a brand owner, yes, you do own the content, because how the brand is reflected, you as a brand owner has to drive. Yes, you cannot control it, but then you can facilitate it, right? So, and that's exactly what Geo is all about, right? Rewriting all your website content in a way which is LLM friendly, changing the technical infrastructure of your website, which ensures that the brand is represented correctly, looking at a more answer engine approach, and develop prompts and queries which can then optimize your brand to come up. So agents are just a means to an end, but then agents will only fetch data and then turn it into reasoning if they have the right quality of content from you, right? So you as a brand has to rethink how you are being relevant in those areas and to the end consumers, which is in the case of B2C or B2B, and how the content is being relevant to those queries.
All right, that's very interesting. We do have one more question that we need to ask you, to be quite honest. What moment has challenged you the most as a founder so far?
So the moment which has challenged me is, as I would probably refer to the questions I answered a few minutes ago, which is about uh, me being a founder, very clear and
Mhm.
very you know focused around what I want to build. But what's challenging is convincing the world of your vision, right? Vision is
Mhm.
exciting, but conviction can be exhausting, right? So, and right now, I think that's the biggest challenge, and especially with Takumi being a new breed of AI consultancy, there's a lot of convincing and building conviction with the stakeholders that is required.
Mhm.
It is a challenge. I'm enjoying the challenge. It is not draining me out. It is actually keeping me very excited because I feel like I have a point to prove. Because I get energized with those conversations with CMOs and CXOs. So it validates my thinking that what I set out to achieve. There is a space and gap for that. At the same time, it is the most challenging thing right now, and I'm you are we are winning, just winning slowly on that front. But yeah, I think it'll be more. 2026 will be a year of the big payoff now. So yeah, I'm
Right.
quite confident about that.
Well, after hearing all of this authentic and honest pitch,
Yeah.
we must have a look at Takumi's expertise and see what you guys do. Definitely. Mohit, thank you so much for such a grounded and honest discussion. I really appreciated the emphasis on, humility, iteration, and responsibility when working with AI, and especially in customer facing and marketing contexts. It's a useful reminder that AI isn't just about efficiency or automation. It's about intention, experience, and long-term trusts. So thank you again for your time and insights. Truly.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Appreciate that.
Any last words, Mike, that you want to share?
I think I would just say that with AI, which is we call it a disruptive force, just set out to change the world and how we work. So I think it's important to recognize this is a a big shift in capability, a big shift in the operating model of companies, and then obviously, and I think the sooner we get on the bandwagon, the faster it will be for us, easier for us to reimagine ourselves, right? So and it's not just about marketing; it's about everything which you see around us, right? So
Mhm.
and I think they call it AI the new electricity, right? And rightfully so, right? So it is the new electricity. We just have to get wired
First.
towards making the and sort of making ourselves relevant in the new age. So yeah, that will be my last words.
And also found a lot of gigawatts, sources to compete with the consumption of AI. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on the HEBED AI podcast. We look forward to continuing these real world conversations.